And there we go. Welcome to this amazing session. I'm really excited for you all to experience Ari's magic. Oh, she's so fabulous. Now, how do I put Ari to the center? I have to pin video. There we go. All righty. All right, Ari, over to you, my love. I'm going to mute myself. I'll be here, but eyes on little fella as well. So I will mute myself.
Thanks, Tash.
Thanks, Tash. Awesome. Well, to be working with Tash. Can you know that you can hear me and see me fine before we get into it? Just type into the comments a yes. Just because we've already had some tech difficulties this morning. Yep, cool, awesome, thank you. So Tash and I are friends. We're also colleagues and workmates. We tend to collaborate with each other on each other's projects. So she works in my academy and she delivers business heretics training in my academy, and then I come and help her with whatever she needs help with on her end, on her side of things. So we have a really beautiful relationship. She actually only lives half an hour away from me. So we spend a bit of time in person and we do seances together and all sorts of crazy woo-woo stuff. And she asked me to come and deliver this channeling training today because a lot of her tribe were asking about it and asking how to involve channeling and psychic abilities in their businesses. It's becoming a well-known fact now that the old ways of doing things, the masculine way of doing things, is no longer working, and we need to bring in our feminine psychic aspects into our businesses. With the frequency of the planet raising at the rate that it is, this is the only way to do things now. So that is why like Fortune 1000 companies work with me and high net worth individuals. A couple of different reasons. Main reason for the companies is that they want psychic abilities so that they're ahead of the game, so that they're connected and unique and revolutionary and luminary and not just blending in with the rest, right? So I work with them to help them bring psychic development into their businesses, and I also help them create psychic training programs for their staff members as well. So that's a little bit of what I do on that end. A couple of reasons why I work with high net worth individuals. One is they have, and I know you are all working very hard on making more money in your life, right? So I just want to put this out there. A lot of the reason why high net worth people work with me is because they've spent their whole life chasing money. They get to the point of wealth and then they're like, what now? And they're very depressed and they're not happy and they don't know who they are. So the reason that is because they lack spiritual wealth. They've spent their whole life focused on the material wealth. They've got there and then they realize they've got this big, massive, empty hole inside of themselves. And the only way they can fill that is really through gaining spiritual wealth. So that's a big reason why I work with them. But on a more tangible level, I also work with them to channel through technologies from other places in the universe to bring to Earth to revolutionize this planet. So that's through channeling, right? So the power of channeling is limitless. You can literally take channeling and transform yourself into a luminary billionaire. Like, there's nothing that you cannot do with this stuff, right? So let's just set the intention very high for all of us, right? That we're going to get the exact piece of the puzzle that we need today in order to really, really, really revolutionize what we're doing here on this planet and really step up beyond ourselves and into this, I like to call it intergalactic missionary, right? Where we're so far out of our human needs, all of our human needs are being met, that we're able to focus on like the universe, like changing the universe beyond just Earth, but we're like making waves in the multiverse, right? And having a massive impact and leaving a big legacy. So that's the energy that we're setting here today. I do have some slides to go through to begin with, just to take you through the basics of it. And then what we'll do is we'll end the slides, we'll mastermind. I want to at least get to mastermind with whoever feels like they want some quick coaching to smash through whatever beliefs and paradigms are coming up for them. You don't have to do that, but I highly recommend you step into the space of vulnerability and do that in front of everyone. We're all in a non-judgmental, accepting space. So just go outside your comfort zone and just spew it out, right? Let's get it out there so that we can move beyond it. And then we're going to talk about, you know, really tangibly, practically utilizing this in your life on a daily basis. Beautiful. So before we begin, everybody just put your hands on your heart. Take a nice deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and just really ground yourself in, because this is very high frequency information. If you've ever learned anything about channeling before, I don't teach it the way anybody else does. This is very different, very unique. I take a science-based quantum mechanics approach. So the information that you're about to receive, just know that even if you don't remember it on a conscious level, it's all going in on the subconscious, and it's all there available for you for whenever you need it. So just relax into the information I'm about to say, let it sink in. You will take away with you today exactly what you need. So just trust in that process, trust in your brain's filing capabilities. And we're just gonna call in everybody's spiritual help, their guides and their angels and their star families, whatever you believe in, where this is completely, you know, non-judgmental about different beliefs and different concepts or different religions. Whatever you believe in, that's totally fine. Whether you want to call it God or the universe, that's totally fine, but just feel that energy coming in to support you in this transformation you're about to experience today. Because channeling is all about moving beyond your human and into your superhuman self. So that is a space where there's no excuses and there's no sabotages that can have any power over you. There's no voices in your head that can tell you what you can and can't do, right? This is all about stepping into pure superhuman self. Now, I do also have an 8-month-old baby, which she is a bit cranky at the moment, so you may hear her, but we're just gonna power through anyway, okay? Just to let you know if you're wondering where that crying baby is coming from. All right, so coming back into the space now, opening your eyes. If you want to, you can set an intention in the comments if you like. So you can set an intention for today to come away with an incredible channeling ability that is going to enable you to scale your business effortlessly, right? That's just an example, but you set it how you wish to set it, right? There's no right or wrong. Just set a nice frequency for yourself, a frequency container for yourself through the power of intention. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. It will let me. Okay. So I'm just going to start while you continue to set your intention. So about me, I did post in the group, but just for those who haven't read it, I'm a leading pioneer in psychic development, and I bring neuroscience and quantum mechanics into tangible psychic development. Work with big vision entrepreneurs, high net worth individuals, and Fortune 1000 companies as an elite psychic mastery consultant, trainer, and personal coach. My individual mission is to reunite humanity with the power and knowledge it has forgotten via psychic transhumanism, utilizing psychic abilities to move beyond the human conditions which have caused us to be so unfulfilled, stressed, and disconnected from the expanse of the universe, which keeps us trying to stuff this empty void within with external resources. True wealth begins with spiritual wealth. So that is what this is about. It's playing up a little bit, so we're just gonna have to work with it. Okay. I'm just going to open it up on a different program because that is not working. Just bear with me. Technical problems today. Hey, I'm not aware of Mercury going in a retrograde, so I know Saturn is though today, so maybe that has something to do with it. Okay. Okay, hopefully this will work. That's better. All right, so to begin with, we're just going to start with some information about your minds, right? You may think you only have one mind, but you actually have three minds. So you have your superconscious, your subconscious, and your conscious mind. Your conscious mind sets goals and judges its results. This is the one you're most familiar with and the one that you battle with on a daily basis. It's time-bound to the past and future. It only has a capacity for short-term memory of approximately 20 seconds. Its average processing is only 40 bits of information per second and only 1 to 3 events at a time. It's a very, very small portion of your consciousness. The thoughts you consistently think in your mind are from your conscious mind. The ones that you actually have conversations with yourself, that's your conscious mind. This is the mind that we operate with in our waking hours on that conscious level. Psychology and counseling have a conscious mind approach generally, which is why change can take a very long time to take effect. The conscious mind runs on 5% brain capacity. So when you're only running on 5% brain capacity, it's going to take a long time to smash through whatever it is coming up because you're not using very much of your actual power. So that can look like trying to do affirmations or talking yourself into believing certain things. Those things take a long time to actually sink into the subconscious because you're working from that conscious level approach with only 5% brain capacity. So the subconscious is habitual. It maintains the functions of the body and it thinks literally. It is timeless. It exists only in the present moment, having no concept of time. It can process approximately 40 million bits of information per second, compared to 40, right, with the conscious mind, and thousands of events in any moment compared to 1 to 3 events. It contains long-term memory and stores the experiences, attitudes, and beliefs gained from the past, which can limit the present moment's potential, right, if they're limiting beliefs gained from the past. It is where new beliefs and behaviors can be installed to affect instant change, for example, via NLP or hypnotherapy, and many other modalities. I were just some examples. Its prime directive is to protect the body. And the 95% of brain capacity the conscious mind does not access is the subconscious. So if you didn't have a subconscious mind, you would be a puddle of water on the floor. Like, it literally holds the matrix of the body together because it runs all of the body system. Your subconscious is what makes your heart beat, right? It is also where all of your learnings from your childhood and in utero and previous lives and other lifetime experiences is stored. So it is like the cloud system. Your superconscious is also known as higher self, intuition, spirit, and the superconscious is known by neuroscience. Neuroscience does recognize that it exists, right? They don't call it the higher self, they call it the superconscious, but it is scientifically accepted. It sees the big picture of your life. It has infinite, unlimited speed processing capacity in a non-linear format, meaning you can utilize this infinite capacity to transfigure out any issue instantaneously, right? So when you're working in the realm of the superconscious, you can shape shift instantly, okay? Nothing has to remain an issue. It has access to infinite information at all times, and it is recognized by neuroscience as existing. Like I said, the superconscious mind entails a high level of awareness that sees both material reality and also the energy and consciousness which makes that reality. It has access to more superconscious consciousness equals more brain power usage. So when you're living from the space of the superconscious, you have access to utilize your infinite brain power. So in society, we have been programmed to function from the conscious mind and the subconscious, but unconsciously from the subconscious, right? And where true power happens is where we become conscious of our subconscious through the usage of our superconscious awareness. And that is what channeling enables us to do. Channeling is utilizing our superconscious awareness to become highly aware of our subconscious programmings and utilize it to change them, as well as to access the infinite information of the universe. So your subconscious mind is like the cloud system of you. Think of it like an Apple cloud. The cloud system of your existence, and the superconscious is the cloud system of the universe that we are all connected to. Think of yourself like a USB, right? You can download information onto that USB from the supercomputer, right? From the supercomputer, superconsciousness of that cloud. So where does consciousness come from, right? Now, this is just what I have gathered from my experience, from my training, from my understanding, right? There's no set science to say this is where consciousness comes from, okay? So just take from this what you will. But I'm sure you know that within your brain, you have a pineal gland, and that pineal gland produces a molecule called dimethyltryptamine, also known as DMT, which floods your cerebral spinal fluid. DMT is produced in mass amounts at birth and death. The pineal gland also has rods and cones within it that produce light. Your eyes have rods and cones that intake light, okay? So your eyes intake light, your pineal gland actually produces light. From my own research and experience with clients, I have come to the conclusion that DMT is the molecule that anchors consciousness to a specific vessel, i.e. the body. And the pineal gland is the receiver of that specific radio station, your consciousness, right? So think of your pineal gland as the receiver and you are the radio. So it's receiving the signal and then you are speaking and being that signal, okay? i.e. your soul. Many researchers have done clinical trials with intaking large amounts of DMT and have reported their patients traveling interdimensionally, speaking with aliens, and having incredible life-altering breakthroughs. The pineal gland is referenced in most ancient civilizations and religions. So a couple of symbologies that you may have seen representing the pineal gland is the all-seeing eye, the top of the eye at the pyramid. That's probably the most common one. It's also referenced as pine cones. I'm pretty sure the Mayans and the Aztecs have a lot of pine cones in their actual carvings and their hieroglyphs. So it's laden throughout ancient history, references to this gland. And it's literally the size of like a pea. It's very, very tiny. So geniuses and intuition, right? Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting, because many of the people that we know and grew up to know are in this frequency that we're talking about today, or lived their life in this frequency that we're talking about today. So Einstein. These are some famous quotes of theirs that are all about intuition, right? So he is quoted to say, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. The intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. There comes a leap in consciousness, call it intuition or what you will, where the solution comes to you and you don't know how or why. Man, surrounded by facts, permitting himself no surprise, no intuitive flash, no great hypotheses, no risk, is in a locked cell. Ignorance cannot seal the mind and imagination more securely. Indeed, it is not intellect, but intuition which advances humanity. Intuition tells man his purpose in this life." One who scorns the power of intuition will never rise above the ranks of journeyman calculator, right? Which means the man or person who is always on the journey trying to figure it out, right? If you scorn intuition and you don't trust in it, you're forever going to be running around on that hamster wheel. Nikola Tesla. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. But instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. What we now want is closer contact and better understanding between individuals and communities all over the earth, and the elimination of egoism and pride, which is always prone to plunge the world into primeval barbarism and strife. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. And Max Planck, you may not know of him, but he is like the founder of the physics that we know today. Like the biggest, most elite physics school on the planet is called the Max Planck Institute. Also, the smallest measurement that we have, he founded, and it's called the Planck measurement. So he was quite a founding father in a big aspect of what we understand about physics today, especially quantum physics. So he's quoted saying, "All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter." As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much: there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. And lastly, in all my research, I have never come across matter. To me, the term matter implies a bundle of energy which is given form by an intelligent spirit. How incredible is this, that three of the most genius people we've ever had on this planet are talking about matter not being real, and that the whole matrix that we live in is constructed by our own intelligent minds. How incredible is that? This is solid proof that everything is born from the spiritual. Everything physical is born from the spiritual. So when we start school and we're taught that everything is outside of ourselves and that we have to always get external validation from everybody else and always look and reach for things outside of ourselves, we forget about the spiritual creation process of reality itself. And then we wonder why we're running around feeling like slaves, you know, not being able to make the money we want and not being able to have the success we want. And it's because we're reaching for those things and we've forgotten how to actually create them from the inside. So we're here to take back that power today. So I also wanted to go through some military use of psychic abilities just to show you, to give you some more, I guess, justification and validation of the existence and use of these things in modern day society, and show you how the military are actually utilizing them and how much money they're investing in psychic development every year. So the most famous project is Project Stargate. It was a 30-year project conducted by the CIA and Stanford University. It proved remote viewing and telekinesis were real. Remote viewers precisely reported artifacts on Mars with coordinates, as well as the storm spot on Jupiter before it had ever been photographed. Remote viewing was both successful inside and outside of sensory deprivation tanks, and several remote viewing soldiers were trained within the process and employed within the military as remote viewers. The project was abruptly ended in 1997 and declassified with limited information released, and a new similar project began thereafter, which is still ongoing today and has not been declassified. So that's the US military. Now, Russia is a bit more interesting. Russia began military psi research in the early 1920s, at that time spending $20 million per year. In 1920, $20 million was a lot more than it is now. And it has since been reported that they now spend upwards of $500 million USD per year specifically on psi research. Western countries have always been afraid of Russian military due to their advanced, covert, and mysterious, unpredictable nature. Russia keeps their psi research findings highly classified. Right? So just think about that, right? That you've grown up, and when you're a child, 99.99% of us were told that psychic abilities aren't real. We were told our imaginations aren't real. We were told to not listen to spiritual information. We got in trouble, right? I used to get in trouble for knowing things I wasn't supposed to know, and I would get accused of eavesdropping and listening in on people and invading privacy and personal space. But I wasn't doing those things. I had imaginary friends that told me things about other people, right? And I didn't have a filter as a small child, so I would say these secrets and things out loud that people had, and I would get in trouble for eavesdropping, right? And being a little nasty girl, yeah. My parents, I was lucky to be born into a family that was spiritually aware and spiritually open. You know, they would take me to angel courses and Reiki courses and healing courses from like the age of 4. But when it came to my own psychic abilities, they didn't know how to handle that, and they didn't know how to nurture that, and it scared them. So instead of, you know, saying to me, when I said to my mom that, when she would ask me, how did I know that secret? And I would say, you know, my imaginary friend Bob told me, instead of going, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Maybe next time just don't say those things out loud. Instead, she would say, you know, people who hear voices get sent to the crazy house. So just be careful who you say that to, okay? So instead of it being nurtured and fostered, I was taught that it was dangerous and it upset people and it alienated me and distanced me from others, and it got me in trouble. So with that information, did my subconscious mind, whose prime directive is to protect me, then goes, oh, okay, so having psychic information isn't actually good for our survival, and it's not fulfilling our human needs of love and nurture and acceptance, right? So we need to switch it off so that we can fit in and conform and be accepted and loved, right? Because that is what's going to enable you to survive those things on a this is very primal level thinking, right? So this is what happens to most children, is we realize at some point that this information is not accepted, and our subconscious mind goes and flicks the switch, right? And then, like me, we get caught in the rat race as a young adult. I have found myself in a very unfulfilling relationship, dating somebody that I felt was expected of me to date, working in corporate law, living in Sydney CBD, suffering with incredible anxiety and depression, and I just couldn't do it anymore, right? And I got myself there because I was not connected to my inner guidance. I was not connected to my inner compass. I was ignoring my intuition, and I was doing what was expected of me. And it was not good for my health, right, in any capacity. So at 23 years old, I had to say enough is enough. And I had to say, I am leaving this relationship. I'm quitting my job, and I am just going to have to move back in with my dad, even though I'm very stubborn and I, didn't want to ever have to move back in with my parents. But I was like, it's this or I end up in the crazy house. Like, I have to change my life drastically because I've gotten so far out of alignment, right? And so that is when I started my business. And not long after I started my business, did all the puzzle pieces start to come together around how neuroscience and quantum mechanics, through my research of this stuff, actually is how you can very quickly and easily develop psychic abilities. I was doing psychic courses, I was doing psychic training, and I was fed up with all of these people telling me I have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours training and practicing all of these things. And I just knew that there was a shortcut. I'm all about shortcuts. I'm all about getting from A to B as quick as possible. I do not like having to train and practice and apply a whole bunch of conscious effort. I'm all about cutting straight to the chase through hacking the mind through the subconscious and the superconscious. So that is what channeling is, and we're going to get more into that now. So the biggest limitations of channeling, right? And when I go through this, if you resonate with any of this, just don't judge yourself. Don't go, oh, that's me. Like, just have space of love for yourself, because we're moving through all of this stuff today. And it's a blessing to become enlightened of this stuff about yourself, okay? Because that means you can then move through it and move beyond it and have more expanse in your life. So the biggest blocks to channeling are societal, religious, and familial programming and conditioning throughout hundreds of years, which claim channeling to be demonic and unsafe, okay? Many religions will tell you that channeling is only channeling the devil, and you're inviting negative entities in to take over you, and you're setting yourself up for a whole bunch of pain, and that's just not true, okay? If you were doing it in a way that you don't know what you're doing and you're just inviting anything in and you don't actually have containers and parameters or intentions, then yes, but we're not about that. We are about setting strong intentions, having trust in our guidance, in our spiritual teams, and knowing that our higher self monitors everything that comes into contact with us. And our higher self does all of the filtering for us, okay? So our higher self is the gateway. A deeply rooted fear of possession, which then comes from that. So fearing that, if you start channeling and you start having, maybe you get to the point of channeling where you're like Cryon or Bashan, you're actually fully channeling a whole nother entity, right? There's a massive fear of losing control and something taking over you and running your life. And even if you're not religious, and nobody's actually ever said this to you face to face, or you've never picked up this belief system on a conscious level, this is a huge unconscious belief that most of humanity has, okay? And this belief is what has stopped us from harnessing a lot of spiritual development, because we fear demons, we fear the underworld, we fear all these horrible things that could happen to us, and we forget about all of the beautiful, incredible, amazing things that we could be opening ourselves up to. Not having clear direction as to how to do it, so basically saying, I don't know how to do it, I don't know what I'm doing, right? That's instant closing down of your crown chakra. You are not going to be able to ever do it if you keep telling yourself you don't know how to do it. So from this moment on, you do know how to channel. You're an expert at channeling, right? Even if you don't feel that way, start saying that about everything, right? I do know how to make money. I do know how to bring in large sums of money. I am an expert in my field, right? I am incredibly wealthy. I do know how to do anything that I put my mind to. Whenever you tell yourself you don't know how to do it, stop it. Tell yourself you know how to do it. Crown chakra instantly opens and the information will channel in, right? That is my biggest tool, right? So if you ever feel stuck, if you ever like, I don't know how to do it, I need to go and pay this person to tell me how to do it. Like, no, step back into your sovereignty, step back into your superhuman self and go, I do know how to do it because I am connected to the super conscious cloud system, and I can retrieve any aspect and any bit of information I desire from that super conscious field, right, that we're all plugged into. So I'm going to download that information onto my USB hard drive. Yeah, that metaphor really helps people a lot because they know how that works on a physical level. Getting in your own way with your conscious thoughts, such as, how do I trust this? Is this really real? Am I doing it right? So that's the next aspect, is being super critical of the process, which is just closing the crown again, right? So how do I trust this? Is this really real? Am I doing it right? There is no right or wrong. How do you define real? Right? How do you define what is real? An experience of something, right? An experience of something is real. So even if the next person doesn't experience it, doesn't mean it's not real. Just like how some people are worth $20 billion and you're not, just because you're not experiencing that doesn't mean it's not real. Okay? So whatever you experience is real. And how do you trust this? Right? That is a massive question because we're so used to needing external validation to tell us we are doing it right. And that's the biggest reason why we hire mentors or coaches, unfortunately, out of a place of lack, out of a place of not feeling like you know the answers, right? It's not from an empowered place. When you step into working with people on an empowered place, just wanting to be immersed in their energy, wanting to be immersed in their knowledge and their wisdom and their genius, rather than expecting them to fix all your problems, right? Things really, really, really change really quickly, and you get a whole lot more out of it because you're acknowledging your innate power. So how do you trust yourself is the real question. How do you trust yourself? How do you trust that you have the answers? That is one you're going to have to think on. How can you start trusting that you have the answers, right? This is the biggest way I have built my business very quickly and very effectively, is by only listening to me. I have fired so many mentors and left so many group programs that were telling me I had to do it their way. Their way was the only way, and trying to give me cookie cutter solutions, right? It does not work. It might work a little bit for a little while, but you need to build your business in your own frequency from the guidance of your team. Yeah. You are here to be that physical vessel of your spirit team's collective mission. It's not just your mission, right? There are beings that are on this mission with you, and they're here to give you all the answers. You just have to start listening and trusting what they're telling you. So that's really what channeling is about, is having your own spiritual guidance team and really believing in that, what they're telling you to do. So that's where the next aspect comes in, is lack of trust in your divine guidance, and therefore a lack of self-validation. Still feeling as if you have to get confirmation and validation from others first before you can fully enact on new information, which leaves you running around in circles, ungrounded and confused. Einstein literally said he would feel and know he was right before he actually had scientific or mathematical proof. Think on that. He felt and knew that he was right before he actually worked out the mathematical equations and got the answers. He also said that he could think and think and think on the problem and never find the solution until he stopped thinking, got up from his desk, went and did something else, and then the answer would come to him. Yeah? Because when he's trying from his conscious mind, he's not tapped into that infinite cloud system of the superconscious. As soon as he stopped trying so hard and relaxed into something else, the answers were able to come through his crown into his conscious awareness. And that is how he was a genius, because he was letting the genius answers come through from his spirit team into his conscious mind, where he could then utilize them in the physical realm. And the next one is probably the biggest one, which is hard. That's a hard pill for people to swallow, but we tend to actually have a fear of our limitlessness. Our inability to sabotage self equals greater responsibility. So if you have absolutely no excuse, right? There's no excuse to fail. There's no excuse as to why you couldn't do what you said you were going to do, right? You have a greater responsibility to live in your superhuman self and not sabotage yourself. So channeling is a way, right, that enables you to surpass your limitations and surpass your sabotages time and time and time again. Once you have channeling in your pocket, there is no excuse, right? Because it is the way to retrieve the answers that you need instantly. The instant answers that enable you to expand into a greater perception of reality on the spot. And by expanding into a greater perception of reality, you're moving past the limitation that you had imposed on yourself. Yes. So this is a big one for many people because we tend to like having excuses. We tend to like having things that we can hide behind, right? So being your superhuman self is being open to consistent change, consistent expansion, consistent moving beyond yourself into something bigger and better and greater. When you embody your superhuman self, you are consistently changing your identity, consistently changing what you thought was possible, consistently expanding your vision and your horizon on what's possible. And so nothing stays the same for long. Yeah? You can quantum leap multiple times a day through channeling. It is the greatest way to mentor yourself. It is the greatest way to not put up with yourself and just move beyond whatever's coming up for you whenever you need to. So I just want to check the comments before we go on just to see what's coming up for people. Just post in the comments what that's bringing up for you. Yes, pine cones all through the Catholic Church too. That's right, Tash. Set the intention to align with the totality of magic that is within me to curate the business and life of my greatest desires with complete ease and flow. I love that. To live a life of divine grace and ease and to inspire and support my customers and clients and find their energy and enthusiasm. I love that. My intention is to learn how to channel with grace and ease to help my business bloom so powerfully. Awesome. Manifest clear and more powerful channeling abilities and channel the words to present my work and attract my soul clients beautifully. So one thing I just want to highlight to people, I just had a quick look through some of the comments in the question areas in the group and question threads, sorry. And one thing that I was really seeing is people not knowing how to create their high-end packages, right? So let's just instantly stop that story right now and change that to I do know how to create a powerful, easily converting high-end package. Okay, let's open all of our crown chakras to that, because how one person creates their package may not be right for you. There is not a cookie cutter process. There is not a one size fits all for anything. So your unique genius comes through in the way that you structure your own packages and programs as well. Okay? So you do know how to structure an incredibly powerful high-end package that's highly converting. However you wish to word that, whatever feels good to you, but you do know.
Can I say one thing on that, Ari?
Yes, go Tash.
Hang on, buddy, just give me one sec. So what I've noticed is that a lot of really spiritual, people who do spiritual work, especially work that's very divinely guided, often don't know how to use that spiritual guidance for their business.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, you know, it's like, that's what I'm loving so much about today, is that we all have this capacity to connect in, but how do we then channel that information into our business, right? We're so used to doing it with clients.
Yeah.
I think that's where the gold is.
Yeah. And that's what I hope I'm really relaying tangibly to you, is that you can use your psychic abilities for anything. So many people get stuck in the paradigm of using our powers for everybody else but ourselves, right? And even highly trained psychics that I've worked with don't have a clue how to use psychic abilities to manifest, don't have a clue how to use psychic abilities to create the life they wish of dreaming. They only have a clue how to use them to help other people, because we've been so programmed into this sacrifice self for others paradigm, which keeps us so limited. So this is really about powerfully stepping into service to self and others. And when we serve ourselves first with our psychic abilities, by creating our businesses, by creating our containers, by creating our programs, by channeling through our Facebook posts, by channeling through our email sequences and our opt-ins and whatever it is that you're doing, your presentations, your webinars, whatever you want to do, you can just channel it all through. And that way you actually step out of the way. You're just the physical vessel to bring that information through. It's like how people talk about channeling books, right? They didn't actually put any sort of conscious effort into the book. The book came through them. And that's what we want with our businesses. We want our businesses to come through us into this world. Your business has a soul, your business has an essence, your business has its own consciousness, right? You birth that consciousness, but you can't control your children, right? Like, there's only so much you can do with them, right? So you have to work with them, right? Not dictate. And so that's the difference with channeling, is we step out of trying to dictate everything and we step into co-creatorship with the soul of our business and our spiritual team that's trying to help us. They're screaming at us and we're just like, no, I'm not listening, right? And then we keep making mistakes and they're like, oh my God, like, this is just beyond a joke. Like, we've got everything you need. You just need to open your ears and listen, right? Or, you know, put pen to paper and let the information come through. How many times I've been stuck in a problem and I've been too scared to move beyond it, right? And I've been avoiding it and I've been going around in the same merry-go-round until I get to the point where I'm sick and tired of it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to move beyond it now. I'm ready to. And I put pen to paper, I set an intention to channel the answer, and one paragraph or one sentence, and my problem is solved, and I know how to move beyond it, and I've got the missing piece of information I need, right? And that could mean landing a huge client, or it could be being presented a huge opportunity, or it could even just be being more at peace with myself and not experiencing, you know, sleeplessness or anxiety or pain or fatigue, whatever it is, right? So channeling is not just about making money. It's not just about having success. It's about using this powerful tool to move beyond any paradigm we're experiencing, right? Physical or not. It's there. Like, how many times I've used channeling to remove pain and it's been instantly removed, right? Or fatigue. I've been really tired and I've channeled out why I'm really tired, and then I don't feel tired anymore because I've fueled myself up with the energy of the universe. There's infinite energy in the universe, meaning there's infinite money, there's infinite clients, there's infinite opportunities, right? There's infinite energy. So most of the time, if you're tired, it's actually because you're sabotaging yourself. I'm just going to put it out there because energy is incredibly abundant and you just need to know that, and you just need to work with it. So everyday uses for channeling, right? The definition of a channeler is a person who conveys thoughts or energy from a source believed to be outside the person's body or conscious mind. Specifically, one who speaks to and for non-physical beings or spirits. Having conscious control, tangible application, and sacred containers for my channeling resource has enabled me to go to a level above subconscious mind approaches and directly to the source of my consciousness, my superconscious mind, to clear my blockages, sabotages, epigenetic programming, karma, and more. Being deeply connected to my channeling has allowed me to step out of the way and truly channel through my divine genius, which is where new technologies, information, and resources are birthed onto Earth for humanity to benefit from and advance with. Channeling is a genius's #1 resource, and they mostly don't realize they are using it, right? So you are already channeling. Most people are already channeling, and they don't realize that they're doing it, okay? So it's not something that you have to go and do a degree in. You're already doing it, and this information is just allowing you to do it on a more conscious level with tangible structure and application. So I just wanted to give a bit of my vision as well, just to help charge your subconscious mind towards harnessing this power, my vision of the future of psychic transhumanism. So psychic transhumanism is the term I coined for a world where humanity is each and individually psychically connected, right, on a conscious level, like where everybody on the planet harnesses their psychic abilities and their guidance. I envision the world to be a very different place, right? So with consciousness evolving and more people tapping into these innate psychic resources, technology is going to drastically advance at an unprecedented speed. Societal concepts and constructs. Someone's audio is going weird. Societal concepts and constructs are going to have to drastically change to support an empowered, connected collective. And becoming an interplanetary or even interstellar species is only inevitable. More and more people are being called to be a part of Earth and humanity's evolution, to bridge the separation between us and the rest of the universe, to rise above the collective fears that have been imposed upon us by everything from authoritarian control to media and entertainment propaganda, mass spreading belief systems that only keep us fearful of the world and the universe around us. Yet inside we know on an intrinsic level that there is so much more available to us than what we currently have. The future of psychic transhumanism is now. We need to each in the present moment decide to say no to fear, say no to accepting what we do not want, and step into a new era, not only of spiritual sovereignty, but mental, emotional, and physical sovereignty. It all starts with the psychic transhumanism journey of yourself. And then one of my favorite quotes about channeling: channeling propels you into the realm of infinite wisdom and creative sorcery. Okay, so that's the end of the slideshow. Now, I want to mastermind with each of you a bit, and the intention for masterminding with whoever feels like they want to step into that space with me is to work on things individually with you that are going to help the collective, right? So whatever you bring up to work through is also going to help everybody else at the same time. Yeah, so it's just a way that I can be of the best service to you by speaking to your individual needs that you need to work through. That's also going to help the rest of the group, right? So this is where powerful shifts happen, right? So Maureen, where is Maureen? Maureen, okay. It's not letting me unmute anyone, Tosh.
Maureen, you're unmuted now.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Maureen. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I loved your presentation, especially the end, like your vision for the future. It's so beautiful. I'm afraid I've been a bit down about, Bill Gates's vaccine, and us being tagged and tested and hunted down by Bill and Melinda.
Yeah.
I'm not able to travel if we don't have our vaccine. And anyway, but we can astral travel after a couple of lessons with you, I'm sure. So who needs a plane?
Yeah, and that's what I meant by physical sovereignty, you know, not only emotional and spiritual, but physical, through having that spiritual sovereign guidance. Me and my fiance do a lot of work as well on actual legal sovereignty, and we delve deep into that, so that we know our rights and we're aware, you know, of how the system works, and that we don't have to be subject to forced vaccination if the world ever comes to that sort of dystopia, right? But from the work, I just want to say this for everybody as well, from the work that I'm doing and the connections that I have, and not only the people I'm connected with, but the beings I'm connected with, I see that as like a 10% chance of that happening. I think we're reaching like critical mass is the term, where there are too many people that are awakened to let that happen.
Yeah. I mean, but there are already, you know, the forced vaccination or mandated vaccines, as they call them in the States, that children here too, you know, and you're excluded from a lot of things. Children are if they can't, and parents if they aren't vaccinated. But anyway, that's a different topic. It's quite an important one, though. Yeah.
But we can use channeling from now on to help us find the answers about that stuff as well that we need to have to help be a part of, you know, however we're being called to be a part of the change as well, whatever we believe in. So what can I help you with in regards to working through your blocks or your sabotages or your paradigms in relation to channeling? What's coming up for you?
Well, I often find myself overthinking things, and just like you were talking about, you know, like Einstein said, overthinking things and prevaricating. Really, sometimes I think my block is I'm lazy. I'm fuzzy-headed in some ways, and I don't really want to sometimes putting the effort in. Like the work Natasha's done to create this program is pretty phenomenal. And I just feel, oh my God, I'd be at my desk all day in front of the computer to do this, to create something like this. And I'm thinking, I'd rather sit outside and drink tea or whatever, you know? Yeah.
So what I'm going to say to that is your concept of work, right? When you're changing the planet and you're affecting your purpose, it's not work, it's a vocation, it's a passion.
Yeah.
We get stuck in this heavy word of work, right? When you have an approach that it is a vocation that you're passionate about, and you're passionate about the big picture of the planet, you then start to bypass your own little individual protection bubble. Right? And this story of laziness, of not wanting to sit in front of the computer, of it all feeling too hard and too big, is just stopping you from really leaving a legacy and accomplishing something big for the planet. When you bring channeling into your business, I hate sitting in front of the computer all day as well, right? I actually get way more done when I go and sit outside in the sun with a cup of tea and some snacks with my channeling book, and I channel out everything that I need to do, right? And then I can either spend some time putting it together on the computer, or I can send it to an assistant if I feel they're able to do that, or you can have an energy exchange with somebody who might want to come into your course for free, and they can put together content for you to help you get the course done, you know? So you do a whole array of stuff like that, rather than feeling like you have to do it all yourself and you have to figure out this technology thing. So that's what channeling is so powerful for, because if you were to sit down and set the intention, like, higher self, can you help me discover why I am having such a hard time with applying myself to this? You probably would have got answers, something like that, but you're just avoiding stepping into that position. You're avoiding stepping into going down this, you know, light workers rabbit hole of consistently trying to do bigger and better things, which is what a lot of people are doing, or consistently trying and failing, which is the fear, and consistently just having to get over yourself and be that superhuman self in order to accomplish what you came here to accomplish. But I know this is a hard question, but I do ask it to everyone that has paradigms like this. Do you want to leave this planet one day feeling unaccomplished, unfulfilled, like you didn't give it your best shot? Or do you want to leave with a smile on your face knowing that you put in your best effort and you consistently advanced yourself beyond what you thought was possible?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most awful thought, just leaving thinking, shit, I made a half-assed effort.
Yeah, that's the hardest thought for everyone, is thinking about leaving the planet having wasted it, right? Yeah. Wasted the opportunity. And I know that's a dark question and it's a really big question, but it's so important to ask ourselves that, because if we feel like we're on the trajectory where we are going to leave the planet not feeling like we've done what we were supposed to do, then that means something needs to change in the present. Yeah, so that we can align ourselves to a better timeline. Yeah. So really the answer to your question, what I feel is a great way for you to bypass yourself, is to get clearer on your vision, your big vision. You know how I just described to you my psychic transhumanism vision. Whenever I feel like I'm sabotaging myself, or I'm getting in my own way, or I'm being lazy, or I'm being tired, you know, I still have I battle with myself still daily. Like it's a human thing that you're going to experience, right? But I just get back into my vision, get back into my reason why, and that enables me to pick myself up and realize that this is so much bigger than me. That my mission is not about me, it's about humanity, and that goes beyond my little issues that I have with myself.
Sure.
Yeah. Does that help? Does that feel like that's a good compass for you?
Yes. And do you know, another thing is, and you know, I'm just starting feeling as we're talking, do you know, I want to be rich and famous, you know, in my own lunchbox or whatever. I think, well, that's, you know, doesn't have to conflict with, I just love your vision for where everybody, what do you call it, transhumanism?
Psychic transhumanism.
Psychic transhumanism, where people are more free and in touch to communicate that way.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And I would just want some more fun and financial freedom, you know, and what money can bring. It's certainly not everything, but yeah, and to be out there loud and proud.
Yeah, exactly. So you will become rich and famous and wealthy and all that, right? When you fill yourself up spiritually first, because if you don't, you may still become those things, but you won't be happy. You'll get there and you won't be happy, right? So filling yourself up spiritually is the most important thing, but that actually gives you so much more leverage and framework to create those things very quickly. Like my highest paying client was $12,000 US, and then I decided I needed to change things, and then I was undervaluing myself, and in 6 weeks, I think it was even less than that, I think it was about 4 weeks, I signed up my first $50K US pay in full client. Like that in 6 weeks. Like, and I didn't spend thousands of dollars on marketing. I actually didn't do any marketing. Like, she came to me, like totally came to me and was like, I need to work with you. Like, you know, let's do this. And then since then, now I'm helping people channel through inventions and having shareholdership in their inventions. So this has all happened in like 6 months. Yeah. So when you're working from this super psychic mode, you fold time. Like, it doesn't take long to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you're consistently rising above yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that feel better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
I do get that, you know, material with material without the spiritual, without having that as being an idol is empty, right? I do get that. And I so thanks so much.
That's okay. And just to add as well, like the reason why, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of rich Silicon Valley entrepreneurs microdose on hallucinogens like LSD and magic mushrooms. so that they can be more connected to spirit. Yeah, so these people are doing this to not only be more creative, but also to feel better within themselves.
Yeah, well, I went to Peru to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
That's the DMT that you were referring to at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like, it really showed me how, you know, living superficially was so destructive and not being aligned with my values. And so after that, I really could see how love was, you know, how it was the power and the joy and the way to go. I'm not going to practice that all the time, but it's my guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I listen.
Yeah. And so like those things are great, but you don't need those things when you're channeling and you're connected to your psychic abilities, right? You have them on the spot. Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We've got a lineup, do we, Tash? Let me just check. Are you able to just pop whoever's on there?
Tamara, you're up second.
Well, I unmute me?
Yes, you're unmuted now.
I am unmuted. Okay. Thanks, Tash.
Hi,
Ari, hi. Ari?
How are you?
Hi. Thank you. Yes, I was very excited about this when Tash told me about this. It seemed to unlock something for me because I think it feels like I can have been using some of these channeling tools a little bit just naturally in workshops and stuff that I do, and I wasn't scared of it or anything. Previously, I feel like my psychic abilities I'd shut down because that inner knowing or those little things that I picked up from people were sometimes really painful, it really hurt. And so this feels like I'm so excited about this because it feels like something's unblocked there, like I'm ready to step into all of that and be more aware, do it more consciously as a tool rather than develop it. I mean, develop it in a more useful way rather than just kind of play with it or know that it's there and not fully own it. But my question, I feel like, is I've spent my whole adult life developing my spiritual wealth, and the rest of it that could complement that, or that would complement, you know, all the business side of it and all of that has not developed at all. And I need to get out of my own way. And I'm hoping that there's a little few seeds of wisdom there that will help me unblock the financial stuff, the business stuff, being able to step into that in an empowered, embodied way, using these channeling abilities, using the more feminine attributes. If you could shed some light on that, I feel like it will not only help me, but it will help others as well.
Definitely. And that's a great question, because I spoke a lot about the wealthy people who are very unhappy, but I didn't speak about the people that devote their life to spiritualism but never accomplish what they want to accomplish, right?
Yes.
So there's two complete opposite polarities that are happening here, right?
Yes.
So how do we meet in the middle?
Yes.
How do we get there? Yeah. That is the question everybody wants to know the answer to. Now, I'm all about helping people step back into their sovereignty, right? So I am going to give you my perspective of this, but at the end of today, I reckon everybody should go and channel on this answer for themselves to see if their higher self just has any more guidance for them on this as an individual as well, right? So I can only tell you from my perspective, yeah?
Okay.
There's obviously going to be more to unlock for you, but...
Yes.
All right, I need everybody to close their eyes and connect into this question, because this, I want to download from everybody exactly what I need to say right here, because there's so many ways I could go about saying this. But just take a nice deep breath. All right. So how we meet in the middle, I'm going to sound like a broken record, right, is by asking our guides for the physical action steps, right? By not looking to everybody else to validate our physical action steps. Yeah. By not, think of it like when you have a question, it's so easy now to just hop on Google and find the answer. Yeah. But you're only going to find the answer from somebody else, from their perception, and they have their own sabotages and programmings, right? And they're on a completely different mission to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what is to be cautious of when you are working and collaborating with other people and you are investing in courses and whatnot, is to just remember to remain in your sovereign power, that you don't have to believe everything that they say, and you can also take what they say and improve it and evolve it, right?
Absolutely.
And connect to your guides about how they wish you to take that information and what they wish for you to do with that. Does that make sense? So this is really about that. That's where many spiritual people get stuck, is they're doing the meditating, they're doing the manifesting stuff, they might be doing witchcraft, they might, whatever way it is that they're doing it, but they're just not grounding in the results. And
absolutely,
they're all up here in these higher chakras.
Yes.
They're not bringing the information down through into their grounded, like, root chakra, right? So how I see manifestation is you open your crown to the perception, right? So say, for instance, channeling, you set an intention to channel to receive an answer. Yeah.
Yes.
So higher self, what is blocking me from grounding my manifestations in and experiencing financial abundance? That's a straightforward intention, right? You're instantly opening your crown to receive the information, receive the new perception. The information comes down, you see it in your mind, yeah? You hear it in your mind, comes down to your throat, you write it out or you speak it out into a voice recorder, comes down, you feel the answer in your heart, you know the answer in your heart, then you feel empowered in your solar plexus with that information. And then it comes down into your sacral chakra, into your womb, where you're then creating with that information. You're taking the action steps with that information, right? And then it bursts, literally like bursts out of your vagina, out through your root chakra, into the physical reality, where you then experience the physical manifestation of that, yeah? But so many people get stuck here. The information comes in, the idea comes in, but they get stuck in the vision and they don't do anything else with it. Does that make sense?
Ari, it definitely makes sense. And over the last, over 10 years, I feel like I've done that. And because of my creativity, I have actually put out into the physical world creative projects. One was a range of clothing inspired by the chakras, and I've designed eco cork yoga mats, and there's a lot of this by asking my guides, what's my next best step for my highest and best good, and listening to all of that and really following my intuition and putting some skin in the game where some of these creative projects were put out there into the real world, and nothing has. There's been block after block after block. There's nothing has actually come to what I would call financial success, or where I have felt accomplished on a certain level. I mean, it's wonderful to put these things out there, and there are no guarantees, but this has been a continuing pattern of mine for about 20 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I know there must be some self-sabotage there, and I totally understand about, asking the divine for support and for help. What am I missing?
What is coming to me really strongly is to adopt the knowledge that there is no failure, there is only feedback, right?
Okay. Yep.
So it can be a little bit of spiritual bypassing to think that everything is just going to magically turn out how it's meant to in the first attempt.
Yes, I do.
But we're here to experience the consistent refinement of self.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So if you were to experience everything you wanted the first go, what would you learn?
No,
Yeah.
no, life needed.
Boring, right?
Yeah.
It would be boring because nothing would be a challenge.
Yeah.
So that is the next element of that, where we tend to fall off the wagon in the manifestation and grounding it in, is we want instant results. If things don't work out the first time, we get cranky, we throw in the towel, we scream at the universe for not having our backs, and we feel lonely and isolated and not supported.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is where we, excuse my language, but fuck it up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So nothing for me works out, like sometimes, rarely, but I have to refine things to get what I want. It doesn't just magically appear the first time, right? So this is about using channeling to work with your guides to consistently get the feedback. Yeah. So if you go and launch this, invest money into launching this clothing brand, and you aren't getting the sales that you wanted, it's like, okay, I have two choices. I can either throw in the towel and can that whole idea and sabotage my whole invention, or I can put pen to paper and I can ask for what I'm supposed to do differently, ask for the feedback, ask what blocks I need to remove, ask what it is that is going on that's not enabling me to get to the level of success that I want to.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the next element of that we miss, is that refinement, because we just have this little pity party and this little child tantrum, and it goes back to being a child and not getting what you want, or not being able to express how to get what you want. So yeah, it's learning how to work with the universe to get what you want, rather than getting angry at it and trying to punish it.
Yes.
Because you are the universe. It's not this external thing to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Or saying I can't do this, and yes, going into the inner child wounding stuff.
So rather than the pity party inner child victim, right?
Yes.
You're stepping out of that drama cycle and you're stepping into your sovereign superhuman being, and you're going, okay, this isn't working out how I wanted it to do. I just need to work with my guys to figure out what needs to change so that I can get the physical result.
Oh,
right?
that's so powerful and so simple.
Yeah. So then you'll stop beating yourself up all the time.
Yes.
And stop feeling like shit, which then drains all your energy, takes your creative power away.
Yes.
You're stuck in that one paradigm that you've been in for 20 years. And I know this all too well, because my dad was an inventor as a child. He was always tinkering and inventing, but he had the 80-20 complex. So he would get 80% done, and then he would sabotage himself and not finish it. He still has inventions sitting in his house, 80% complete, that he started when I was 5. And he messaged me last week to tell me that he's going to finish one of them.
Wow.
Right? So I know this all too well, and the reason he's doing that is because he's too scared to get 100% done and then go, now what do I do? Now I actually have no excuse, right, to not move beyond myself and bring this to
that's right. That's exactly right, Ari. That's my fear. Now I don't have any excuses.
no excuses, right? But it's, rather than it being scary, it's a journey of an adventure. Like, how I like to look at it is, if I'm not consistently moving beyond myself, then I'm not living a life of adventure, magic, wonder, and mystery.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my intention is to realize my full potential.
Yeah. Yeah. So the very things we yearn for, we're actually neglecting from ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so wise. And Ari, are you teaching us some channeling techniques?
Yes. So you're already learning them as we're going, but I'm going to give you a little action step at the end, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ari, thank you. Deep bow. That's wonderful.
All right. Who's next?
I'm just going to slide Susan in because she's working and has to return back to work. So there you go, darling. Hang on. Susan, you'll have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. How long have you got, Ari?
I've got, we'll just go until we're done.
Beautiful. Thank you. Susan, can you unmute yourself?
I think I did just then.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I just put myself on video. So I was just wondering, I'm struggling to actually move on with my business because of a lot of trauma in the past. And also with that came not going to school, not having education like everyone else did. So I struggled with understanding and also my literacy and my reading side of things. But I want to give it a great go. I'm really, powering forward with everything else, and just want to know where I can sort of go with that, how I get past that.
Yeah, so you're wanting to know what I'm hearing, just tell me if I'm hearing you correctly. You're wanting to know how to use this to get past the past?
Yes, I've gotten past the past, that's fine. I just need to move forward. I'm just wanting to know like how I can do that in some way, by, I'm trying to educate myself as much as I can, but a lot of stuff I'm struggling to understand. So I'm just wondering if there's any, thing I can, because I know there's a lot of blocks there, and I just wonder how I can get past those.
I'll just jump in quickly, Ari. Susan, over a lot of childhood trauma, her brain capacity, there's been damage to the brain. So I know, Susan, we've spoken in our one-to-one sessions that writing and reading is quite difficult for her to really get into flow with that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just needed a little bit more context, that's all. Thanks for that, Tash. So you can use, I'm just going to put this out there, you can use this channeling process to also utilize it as a healing process as well. Like I mentioned, like helping your body heal, helping your body come back to its superhuman powerful state, right? Your natural state is healing, right? Your natural state is homeostasis. Your natural state is, like, we shouldn't have anything like pain and suffering and disease, but it's just the way that our current world is modeled, right? And we're moving, part of this superhuman self is moving into infinitely being able to move beyond any pain, suffering, illness, and disease as well. So I've known people that have, healed cancer with their psychic abilities, and come out of comas with psychic abilities and all sorts of stuff. So I just want to also highlight that to you as well, that you can utilize this to improve your life on that aspect as well.
Yeah, as a nurse, I do that. I've seen a lot of that happen, just from people changing their diets and changing their thought patterns.
Yeah.
Basically, they've been given 3 weeks and they've gone home for nearly 5 years.
Yeah.
So I have seen that happen.
Yeah, beautiful.
But yeah, my thing is I'm in the process of recovering from trauma. So a lot of my stuff is fuzzy-headed. Most days when I'm doing my exercises and stuff, I get a very blurred head. I can't think past that, so I'm basically wiped out the whole day if I do the stuff that I've been doing. I can't meditate, so people who have had trauma can't meditate properly. So I've been doing yoga, little steps at a time, just building myself up slowly and finding great progress, along the way. So it's just a matter of time. And my blocks are that my literacy and my ability to be able to think and reason properly is really struggling at the moment. But I'm not going to let that stop me from doing my business.
Yeah,
I still know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you can move beyond those things. I fully 100% believe that. And I really think utilizing channeling, even just for 5 minutes a day, is going to help you quantum leap.
Yeah, I used it when I had the car accident and I was trying to work through the pain. I was using channeling, not knowing I was doing it.
Yeah.
Just sort of working the pain up through my leg and out through the body.
Yeah.
That way,
Yeah. So
I strongly believe in that.
So with what I'm trained in, we very deeply understand that every symptom is the subconscious trying to communicate something to you. Yeah. So utilizing channeling to understand those symptoms, or I like to use the word inner stand better, because it's an inner knowing, rather than an underknowing. So utilizing channeling to gain a deeper understanding of what those symptoms are trying to communicate with you will enable you to release them much quicker and easier, right? So I've had many clients with things like autism and epilepsy and stuff like that as well. And the psychic development has been the aspect that has helped them cure those ailments, and step into more freedom in their body and mind as well. So I think maybe we can set an intention for you, like a physical, every morning you channel the same question, the same intention, and you will get more and more information, right? And what's going to happen is your higher self and your guides are going to filter this information straight into your conscious awareness, and it's going to come out onto paper. Or you can, I recommend for you write, or you can put your phone on voice record and you can speak. But most people find writing easier. And you're going to get more and more information about why you're experiencing this stuff and how you can move beyond it. And when you uncover that information, your neural pathways rewire and you experience reality differently. And
I've actually felt that. So I've been laying down, channeling into my body, and my whole body's just been twitching from my toes up, mostly in my right leg that was damaged in the car accident. A lot of twitching in there, so I feel like it's just healing itself over time.
Keep doing that. But when you utilize channeling as well to get actual written guidance and written information, it's just going to help supercharge it. So even if it doesn't come out perfect or anything like that, it doesn't matter. It's just about giving it a go and training that part to come back, because your consciousness, like I said, is perceived into your pineal gland, which is a little tiny pea in the center of your brain, right above your spinal column. And so the more and more you can bring the frequency back clearly for your pineal gland to receive, because a lot of brain trauma makes that frequency a little bit fuzzy and a little bit altered, like what you're talking about. So the more you channel every day, like actual setting an intention to heal this, the quicker and quicker that frequency is going to level out and become stronger again. Sort of like when you're
at the moment when I do that, it actually gets blurry and I get really tired. So if I just give it time, it will actually strengthen.
So I mean, this goes a lot deeper, but even the blurriness and the tired is a symptom, right? So then you can go, okay, higher self, why am I feeling blurry and tired? Why is this causing me to be blurry and tired, and get that information? So look at every single thing that you're experiencing, every single hardship as something that can be overcome and something that you can get information about. So I think she just got a phone call, but I hope that helps. So I might post into the group maybe an example of an intention that she can utilize, that you can utilize, Susan, on an everyday basis, and just give it a go and see how that works out. Yeah? Cool. Who's next?
All right, we'll go Maya. Maya. Sorry, I keep on wanting to call you Maya, but it's Maya, of course. I know that it's Maya. Maya, unmute.
Maya, isn't it?
Oh, no, it is Maya. It is Maya. Sorry. I have a very good friend who's called Maya, and I get them confused.
I know. It's very confusing. There's Mayas and Mayas and Mias, so I just answer to anything. Hi, Ari.
Hi.
I watched some people channel about 30 years ago, and I watched some as an entity came and took over their body, and I remember freaking at the time because, I'm a recovering control freak, and shut down anything at that point because there was no way anyone was going to take over my body. Slowly over the years, I know that I channel, but there's still that block there that no one's going to take over my body. And I think that's part of the reason that I don't channel more than I do.
Yep.
What do you suggest I do to get over that?
Yeah. So
and I don't want anyone taking over my body.
Yes. So like I said, there are multiple versions of channeling, multiple ways you can harness it. What we're talking about today is being still in full control, being fully aware and present in your body, and just thinking of yourself like the radio, just slightly changing the station. yeah, so that you can receive different information to what you normally receive outside of your consciousness, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to set a safe container. I'm going to put that homework in the group for you to start setting your safe container for how you wish to experience channeling, right? So what that container does is it's setting a boundary inside your mind. So you're creating a neural pathway boundary, meaning anything outside of that is not going to happen. Yeah. Okay. So if you say, you know, I remain present in my body, consciously aware, I'm in control, and the information comes into my conscious mind and I write it out, then that is what's going to happen. Yeah. Okay. It does take a lot of, I'm not going to say that, it does take more conscious development to get to the point of being able to fully leave your body and channel another being. Like, that is extremely advanced channeling. Yeah. So it's not going to happen to you. Your higher self has your back, remember, and your higher self is not going to expose you to things that you don't want to be exposed to. Okay. Because one of the women had to have someone sitting beside her because she could only channel for 40 minutes or it would, I don't know, destroy her body in some fashion. So I was like, that's not going to happen to me. That's a paradigm as well that I've proven to be able to break through. But yes, so it's totally possible to channel extraterrestrial beings or other beings like that, but it's not the only way. Yep. Yeah. And I know. I channel when I'm working with clients, and I channel when I'm running meditation groups. It's just that I think for me the block is going further than that, and then somehow some entity is going to take over my body. Yeah. So I think just remembering that your higher self's got your back, and it won't allow that to happen, because your higher self is the gateway. Your higher self says what can and can't happen. Yeah. It's there to protect you. So yeah, I think just coming back to remembering that you're not alone and you do have other support as well, supporting you, unseen support in a sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's okay. Who's next?
All right, we'll go Hortensia. I'm just looking to unmute Hortensia. Hola, Hortensia.
Hola, gracias.
Buenos días.
Buenas noches. Good night.
Oh, para ti. Claro.
Buenas noches. Hi, Adi.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. Yes, good. Thank you. You answered so beautiful, so many questions. I'm almost in tears, especially you've been answering all the questions I had. When I need to receive, open my crown chakra, and how you explained, it was like almost poetically, like we went through the chakras, then to the pineal gland, receive the information, and then write it and ground it, and until you birth the idea. This is so beautiful. But for me, I have the resistance to write for a long time. I've been in the path of healing. Yeah, very, with a lot of studies, I know a lot and I have resolved, but I never write, never. Mm-hmm. And I never like to speak in public. So I almost went no public. And I was so happy working behind the scene. And I have this, I take this course, where I'm supposed to even learn how to channel, but it's very difficult and challenging. And I wonder why. I know one time I worked with so many groups in the world before, and supporting a lot of people planting seeds, I say, but one time in a group, I feel like somebody hit me with a big sword. And from there, I have difficulty speaking. So I don't know, was it the psychic attack or what? But I cannot get it over. And every time I try to learn new things, it's like I forget things. So here I am after 30 years doing these things. It's like I have to relearn. So I don't know what happened with me then. Maybe that's the resistance I feel, insecure, just speaking, but not doing my work. The healing work is just my thing. Or maybe it's a possibility that maybe I need a change and I need just speak and stop healing, because it's been a lot, too much. And I was thinking going through the path of the beauty, because I erase wrinkles and grow the body, do body sculpting with no touching, just energy. Yeah. So I'm kind of not clear about where to go from there.
Yeah. Okay. So just tell me if I'm hearing you correctly. You're wanting to get beyond your sabotage of not being able to write, like having a big resistance to writing and putting things down on paper. Is that the biggest concern?
Yeah, this is one. It's taught me so much, and then they speak. I'm started speaking, but I have this problem that I'm concerned. What happened? Maybe it's not important anymore. I don't know.
About the event that happened?
Yeah, that I kind of stop and I forget. It's like the language a little bit. And then I have to start very slow, but because I isolate so much, I'm doing healings every day. I don't speak to people. That's all I do. So I didn't use it so much. But when I started teaching meditation, stuff like that, I noticed I have this difficulty. But I'm coming along well. Yeah, I can do it more easily now.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I just recommend setting aside 10 minutes a day, literally, in your own time, just setting an intention to spend 5 minutes physically channeling, right? And then 5 minutes speaking into your voice recorder. What this is going to do is it's going to enable you not the excuse to forget because you've got it in writing and you've got it voice recorded, right? And that's going to build up your psychological strength to step back into that space where you can easily speak, easily write, easily convey yourself in that way. And any sabotage that you feel you have, you can utilize this to release and move beyond. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it's incredible.
So it's and just investing, not spending, investing that 10 minutes in your day to apply yourself to this, to move beyond it, so that for the big picture, so that you can live a fulfilling, happy, beautiful, harmonious life and accomplish your purpose on a bigger scale, right?
Yes, totally. Yes, that's the dream.
So if you ever feel like you're giving yourself excuses as to why you can't do it, just remember that this is bigger than you, that this is about more than you, that this is about the planet, right? And you have this amazing tool at your fingertips. Yeah?
And the one thing about it is I think all the words that exist are already being used. And I would like to create my own language. Like I cannot resist. I find in all this, I don't know, it's excuse or it's something else that I need to speak. And I speak, I tone, I heal myself from, and escape from surgery, for example. And then, so I don't know if something else when I come. Yeah.
I can't give you the answer on that. Only you know the answer. Yeah. So you're gonna have to set the intention as a part of the activity we're gonna do and unlock what that information is that you need. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I think we've got Jess. Quick question. Jess, you'll have. Yeah. Sorry, I just muted you. Is that better? Can you hear me? Hi, Ari. That's awesome. Thank you. Hang on, I can't even see you now.
There's a funny noise coming through.
There you go. Yeah, someone else's. Anyway. Oh, sorry, Hortensia. I can still just see you. I can't see Ari. Are you muted? Yep, Hortensia's muted. You might just need to maybe move to gallery view. There we go. Got it. Okay, cool. So I love what you've said. I was going to ask you, are you NLP trained? Because I love all the terminology that you've spoken.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is the first thing that I trained in that enabled me to put my life together.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So I'm an NLP trainer, and so I've only run one program so far, and I'm sort of gearing up to do my second, and I'm just already questioning, like I love the structure that it gives me, and it's a certification, it's a qualification. But I also really love, I've been doing energy healing since I was 18. So I really love that aspect to it. And I love the three conscious, like conscious mind, subconscious and superconscious. And I tend to work with all three of those things in different areas. And I just don't know how to blend it all together in my own sort of unique way. So I do crystal dreaming as a one-on-one session where people access the superconscious themselves through a mandala of crystals. So I love doing that. And then I do energy healing and I
you know, help people access their subconscious through NLP. And then I do conscious goal setting with NLP as well. So, but they're all different things that I've learned in different other people's modalities. And I have no idea how to morph it all together to be this comprehensive thing. And so I was going to ask you a couple of really rapid fire questions. Some are business related, some are a bit random. Do you think people want to be certified and qualified in a course, or are they just happy to get like the outcome if you were just to say, look, this is a program where we're going to cover all the consciousness levels and what are the blocks and sabotages, and I'm going to teach you about energy through the chakras and also through NLP and subconscious processes, and you'll be awesome at the end? Or do you think they'll want a qualification? Like, what is you've obviously blended all your things together, so what's your experience in that been?
Interesting question. I am actually in the process of using channeling and everything I've learned and meshing it together and creating my own modality, which, you know, it's sort of on the back burner at the moment. It's not top of my priority list, but it is something that I am chipping away at in the background, right? So when you're using this and accessing this higher consciousness of channeling, all those things you just asked are answers that are available at your fingertips very, very easily, and you'll start to piece it together, right? And I think it really comes down to your business model as well. Like, how do you want to be training people in a modality, or do you want to be having high-end clients? Because there's only so much people are going to pay for a modality, right? Or do you also want your high-end clients to come away with a certification as well? So there's a couple of different variables there that I think is what you were talking about. So yeah, I think do you want to be very busy, like just focusing on training people in a modality, or do you want to be working with these high-end clients, maybe one-to-one or in a high-end group setting where they can also, as a bonus, come away with a certification in something, but that's not the focus? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's something I really need to put my finger on, because I also have not another business, but I'm also a police officer. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's been this interesting paradigm that I've lived, where I've got one foot in this world where, you know, I'm really about like just helping people that are in that suffering energy just by bringing my own vibration to it. And I have channeled an answer, because I was about to resign when I was on maternity leave 6 months ago, and I through a crystal dreaming process got the answer that it wasn't time for me to leave yet. So I'm just going with that, but it's part-time, so I do have time to work on my other business as well. So that brings me to a couple of other practical questions about channeling. And I guess a little fear or a block I've had is when I do expand my energy and I have a credible process and I'm really high vibration, I am a bit worried that I go to work and I come across people who might be drug affected or, you know, have a lot of entities around them from mental health and all sorts of things that have kind of latched onto them. And that if I'm really, really open, I'm going to perceive those, or they're going to try and jump onto me, or, you know, like, do you have a strategy to keep it kind of like locked down when you're in certain situations?
I have a perception change, a reframe.
Yeah.
So if you are more high vibe, aren't you going to repel those things? Versus if you're lower vibe, aren't they going to more easily attach to you or torment you?
Well, my perception is it's almost like, you know, a bug zapper, where like the bugs are kind of coming to the light and they don't know they're going to get zapped, but they still just want to kind of go to it. And so if I'm bringing more light into a situation, they're going to kind of go, oh, what's that? And just sort of flop.
Yeah. So that is one of these religious age-old programmings that we've had, that if we're super high vibe, that we're going to attract all these demons, to prevent us from being high vibe. So look at it as though the higher vibe you are, the more just of this being of light you are, and all these, you know, dark entities might be coming towards you, but you don't even notice them, because before they even come into your conscious awareness, your energy just evaporates them and zaps them like that bug zapper. So the more you level up in your consciousness and level up in your vibration and maintain your hygiene, your energetic hygiene, the less susceptible you are going to be to any of that stuff. And that is the reframe, the mindset reframe that enables you to not waver in energy so much, being all over the place, and enable you to be more grounded in that higher consciousness wherever you are, sort of whenever you desire to be. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, awesome. And I'm glad that you brought up energetic hygiene, because I call it etheric hygiene, but yeah, the same thing. What are your thoughts on things like eating meat, having wine occasionally? Do they impact your ability? Obviously, if you're drunk, you can't channel that great, but, or am I?
That's debatable.
Well, yeah, tell me, what are your experiences on those kind of things?
Yeah, I just think live. You know, I choose to be, I'm vegan, and I've been vegan for 4.5 years, but that was something that happened to me. That was a spiritual experience where I kept getting sick eating dairy and eating meat, but I just kept doing it because it's what I was programmed to do. And I just woke up one day and I was like, I can't keep doing this to my body. Obviously my body doesn't want it, you know, so why is this so hard for me to give up on it? And it was all to do with fear of judgment and fear of, you know, my partner at the time, he was one of those people that was like, meat. So I just had to get to the point where I was like, cook your own dinner. And I had to take back my personal power. Yeah. And there's no way I could eat meat again. Like, it's just not in resonance with my body. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't be psychic if you eat meat. Like, that's just, you know, I really feel veganism is something, or vegetarianism is something that finds you if it's meant to. It's not something you can force. And when people try and force it, they always, you know, they're wavering in their diet. They see it as a diet rather than a lifestyle or a life choice. And they're all over the place. And that's why diets don't work, because they haven't been grounded in on a spiritual level. So I think you just listen to your body and you listen to your guidance, you know. I've had some amazing, like, I don't drink very often, but a couple of months ago, like, me and my fiance were out for Valentine's Day, and we had a babysitter, and, you know, we decided to have a couple of drinks playing mini golf. And we got to the point where we were quite inebriated, and we had a massive, like, because he's highly trained in Psych K, and all of a sudden all of this, like, blocks were coming up for me to the forefront. And so we had a massive, amazing Psych K session, removing all of these blockages, and I was like really drunk, but it worked really well. My brain felt like it was processing all the information so much faster for some reason. I don't know why. I couldn't explain it, but, you know, I just think release judgments. There's so many judgments for spiritual people that they need to be a certain way and they need to adopt a certain way of living. And I just think there's not one size that fits anybody. You just go with what you feel guided to, and you don't need to validate or justify yourself to anybody.
Oh, hallelujah. Absolutely. And, like, I'm all about breaking molds, because I've been doing that for over 13 years, being the most hippie cop that I've ever met or been.
That's what I was thinking. I've never met a police officer like you, so
yeah, I get that a lot, trust me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, that's okay. So yeah, I think the answer is just be you and be proud of who you are, and just go with it, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If you want to take magic mushrooms or go to Peru and do ayahuasca, go do it. You know,
I already did that on my honeymoon in Costa Rica.
Yeah. So, you know, and me and my fiance experiment, like, now we have a baby, we don't, but before that we used to experiment with magic mushrooms and hallucinogens and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of my channelings and information actually came through in those times, and those times really changed my life. And for ages I was scared about speaking up about it, because I was so fearful that people would take it the wrong way and think that I was like this drug addict, you know. But it was just something that I had to start speaking up about, because it was something that had had a big impact on my life, and I felt like I needed to talk to people about it and be open about it and be honest and transparent. And I didn't receive any of the judgment that I thought people would judge me on, if that makes sense, because I come to peace with myself about it. So yeah, and now, you know, I never tell people to do that stuff. They do that at their own discretion, obviously, but being more psychically connected is about accessing those levels of consciousness people are seeking by taking those things, without needing to actually take them. So I feel like that's what they actually taught me, is that you don't actually need them, that you can connect to this consciousness and this information on autopilot, on tap whenever you need to. So
absolutely. I've just got one more quick question. Sorry. So, like under the hood, when it comes to your business and how you said this woman just came to you out of nowhere, and you know she ended up being a 50K client of yours. What is it that, like, do you have clients and you don't say what your paid packages are at all until you speak to them and you say, look, this is the program I recommend for you, and I think it will be this many sessions, and this is the outcome, this is how much? Is that kind of how that happened? And like, what did she want for $50,000? Like, how I just stretched my paradigm for that.
Yeah. Okay. So she was I was running a monthly mastermind at that time, which was about, I think it was about $200 US a month. And she came into that, and 2 weeks later, she was like, I need to work with you one-on-one. And I knew that she came from a place, I knew that she had money and I knew that she had success. And at the same time, I was up leveling my pricing. So I knew that it was a test from the universe to not say to her, oh, $10,000. I knew it was a test for me to say, it's 50K. And that was a big, scary thing for me to do, but I did. And she was scared. Like, she had never invested that much in herself, but she knew that she had to do it because she was one of those people who had wealth and had, you know, physical success, but didn't have that spiritual wealth, even though she was running a spiritual business. So she knew that she was really out of integrity. And the reason that she paid 50K is because she wanted to work with me, nobody else. Like, she was attracted to me, and that was what I was commanding. And she was also wanting to charge that in her own business and more. You know, now she has $1 million package that she's got on offer.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you invest higher amounts in yourself, you're actually expanding your perception and setting a higher standard for what you expect from your clients, if that makes sense. So I know that's really scary, but sometimes expanding your reality is scary. Like, last year, I was tested to invest in myself literally like a couple of weeks after I had my baby. But I needed to learn from a mentor who was running a successful business and was homeschooling 3 children, you know, and this is our sole income. So I needed to learn how to manage having a baby and running a business. And the amount that she was asking for made me absolutely sick. You know, but I knew that she was the person. And I went through 24 hours of vomiting in the toilet, crying, like just so disgusted and sick in the concept of departing with that money after just becoming a new mum. I felt like I had to cling on to my money. Anyway, I did it. I paid the invoice with the intention that I was going to like triple my income. Literally the next day, crazy enough, magic happened. I had someone book in a call to speak to me overnight, and I made back the exact amount of money that I had spent not only 12 hours earlier.
Wow.
Right? So like, magic really does exist, and it really can happen really quickly. And that is the investment that led me to starting to sign up 50K plus clients, because this coaching dynamic, this woman was basically like, you're not owning your worth and you need to wake up to yourself, and there's a bigger picture here that you're not seeing. So then I started channeling about, what is this bigger picture? What am I missing? And that's when I got the information about, you're here to help people channel technology. You're here to help wealthy people actually use their money for good and stop wasting it. You know, you're here to help these people revolutionize the planet. That is what commands those prices, is those big visions, right? It's not about what you're qualified in. Nobody asks me what I'm qualified in. They don't care. They just want to work with me because they're in love with the vision and they want to be a part of it. So I think that is the key piece of information that a lot of people miss. They focus so much on what they're trained in, and they don't sell themselves and their vision.
Can I just say, oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I want to say, Ari, you know, you show up, you speak up, you share your mission, you get yourself out there, right? We have to also be incorporating these other aspects in order for us to be seen. Yeah. We can't just set an intention to have a 50K client and then sit back and, you know, and hide in the shadows. Like it's equally us setting the intention and then also committing to getting it out there and talking about what, you know, the power of our work and that aspect as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So literally the moment, like it was within 24 hours when I was like, oh, I actually could have a 50K package. I can see how my work is worth that now. Like I couldn't see that before. I had a message from her in my inbox saying, I know that you're my coach. I need to work with you. How much? And so I knew, because I'd only decided within the previous few hours that I needed to charge that amount, I needed to say like, it is 50K, and I needed to own that. Whether or not she said yes or no, it didn't matter. It was about grounding in that new reality and taking action with it. And then subsequently she was like, fuck, that's scary, but yes, we need to do this. Like I cannot avoid this. And if I don't do this with you, then I'm not going to create the life that I want to create. So there is conceiving, and that's the process, what I spoke about, perceiving the new perception, which was me perceiving the 50K package, right? And then actually visualizing and seeing what was inside that package and creating that, and then grounding it in verbally by saying it out loud to somebody, this is my package. Yeah. And then feeling the heart-to-heart connection with that person and wanting to work with them, feeling that soul-to-soul connection, feeling the power in my solar plexus about the vision that we can create together, and also the power of receiving that money and what I could do with that money. And then the womb space of gestating it while she was getting over her own shit to step up and do it. I'm also gestating it and holding space for her to step up and do that in my womb space, and then birthing it out of my root chakra so that she can then say yes. And that's the process. So I just wanted to explain that again on a more contextual basis so that you can understand that process. So it's perception, and then you go through the process of literally birthing it out, all of your chakras, into the physical realm. But channeling is where you first enable yourself to perceive the information and perceive the potential reality. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Is that everything? Is there anything else?
Just about names. So you guys have got business names. Do you, like, you know, you're talking about stepping out and being authentic. It's something that's always kept me back about my, you know, like my name on my name badge at work and the people that see me there. And then like all of a sudden on the internet with ads about psychic development. And you guys both use different like business names than your actual birth name?
My birth name isn't Arikala. It is legally now, because I had to change that. Literally, Facebook made me change my name legally. But it was good because I had some competition. Some woman who was very jealous of me and didn't like me very much report all of my Facebook posts as spam, and I got kicked off Facebook.
Oh.
Because my birth name was different to my Facebook name. Facebook wouldn't let me back on Facebook, so I literally had to go and legally change my name. But it was good because I'd been putting it off, and it was like I was attached to my birth name and not wanting to let it go. So it was actually a really healing experience for that to happen. But the reason I utilize Arikala is actually it came to me in meditation. I was told that that's the name I need to utilize. It carries the frequency of the work that I'm doing, and it is a name that I've carried with me for many, many, many lifetimes. So that's why I went out of my comfort zone and changed. I hadn't started my business as that name, so I had to change everything to that name and face people's judgments about that and whatnot. But it was a really good thing that I did. I didn't change it because I was afraid of what people would think of me. It had nothing to do with that. It wasn't changed from a shadow aspect. It was changed from, okay, this is the guidance I've gotten, and I know it's scary, but I need to step up and do this because this is what I've been told to do, right? So just wanted to make that, important distinction, like Tash said. So I think if you have fear around being seen as a policewoman as well as a spiritual woman, there are two parts of you there that can come together for unity, and you know what I'm talking about with NLP. So I think there's a parts integration there, and you need to be, what's going to enable you to make lots of money in your business is when you are fully at peace with yourself, 100% being seen in all of your light and all of your glory, even at your profession as a policewoman. And I know that's really challenging because you are breaking paradigms, but the world needs more police like you. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. We need more enlightened people being police than what we see. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's so refreshing to meet you and experience your consciousness, and for you to tell me that you're a policewoman. Like, that gives me hope. Because, like, especially with what's going on right now, people are afraid of police.
Yeah.
You know, they don't feel like the police are on their side. So I think it's actually a big part of your mission is to stand up and be seen in your magic in all that you do, not just parts of it. So it doesn't have to happen overnight. I'm not saying you have to go to work tomorrow wearing a tie-dyed uniform. But it's a step-by-step process. Like when I worked in corporate law, I want to explain what happened, because this is going to blow your mind. For a long time, I was very afraid to speak about my passions outside of work, until I just started doing little tiny things. I started to get sick and tired of myself, always hiding myself. So I started to do little tiny things. I started to bring crystals to work and sit them on my desk. Or I'd have a quote by somebody on my workspace. And I just started to do little bits of things that people would question a little bit, but that I felt comfortable with. Before not too long, there are lawyers that are earning millions of dollars a year, bringing their crystals to work and charging them in their windows in their offices. I'm not joking. So I set the framework. As I was a secretary, I wasn't a lawyer. I set the framework for people to feel comfortable to be more spiritual at work. And it blew my mind that these people had crystals and had, spiritual quotes by Gandhi or whatever that they wanted in their workspace, but it started it.
Yeah.
So I think you'll find that people will find a lot of comfort in you being more yourself, and then that enables them to be more themselves. And then you have a consciousness shift amongst the collective.
Yeah, I definitely have seen that unfold already. The more I'm stepping into my, owning all those aspects of myself. So yeah, just one step at a time. Don't freak out my inner child too much, but I'll get there.
Yeah, you don't have to completely change overnight. Like you just go outside of I reckon do one thing outside of your comfort zone every day, and that's a great goal to have.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Much love.
I think we have a couple more questions, and then I'm very aware of Ari's time, so we'll probably have to wrap up after this. So Rosie, did you want to come in and ask a question? I think you put yourself on the list a while ago.
Yeah, hi Ari.
Hi.
I just a couple of these things have kind of been sort of answered. So yeah, I'm really interested to I guess work on some structure and action, which you said you would get to, so that's great. In terms of, I've just noticed, sort of studying, just started this group with Tash, and all of this resistance is coming up, and there's just been other stuff happening as well. Do you feel it's actually necessary to heal that stuff before you move into the channeling, or can the healing be just part of the channeling?
Great question. If you go by the belief system that you have to be fully healed before you can start, you'll never start. Because there's no such thing as being fully healed. Yeah. So it is a process of unfolding. Like every day there are new challenges that arise, and let's just have a paradigm shift about healing, because needing healing doesn't mean you're broken or anything like that, right? Healing is really just transformation. Healing is new paradigm, new reality, right? New experience. It doesn't mean that you're broken or you're damaged or anything like that. So it's a continuous process. You'll never get to a point where you'll be like, okay, I'm fully healed, I'm done, right? It's never going to be like that. So channeling is just a powerful way that you can move through that process of self-unfoldment a lot quicker. Yeah, where you don't have to put up with yourself for weeks and weeks and months on end, and you just have a tool that you can harness to get over it right now, rather than it continuing to show up in your life. Yeah. So it's a way that you can move past the obstacles that are coming up for you instantly in the moment, rather than just keeping them as a part of your reality, knowing that nothing you don't like has to remain, but it can change and it can shift and it can evolve into something that you do experience. I don't know if you can see, but there's a couple of little orbs flying around every now and again. So I hope that answers your question, that you've just got to start somewhere. And
no, I wondered that, because it's like, and this has been like really ramping up, and I've kind of felt this energetic other people around me, perhaps maybe more sort of just trying to shut me down. And I wondered whether it's like it just got to the point where I was exhausted, and I thought, do I need to just stop moving forward to deal with this? Because my worry is that, like if you actually stop moving forward to deal with your healing, that you'll lose momentum and I'll never get there.
Yeah, moving forward is healing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's the reframe. And the best thing to do, people are going to resist you growing, right? And that's just because it's nothing personal. It's just because you're expanding your reality outside of what they believe is possible, right? And it's just natural that we try and pull each other back down. It's not a conscious thing. It's completely subconscious. So the best thing to do for these people is to just send them love and empathy, and know that when their time comes, that they too will rise. And I feel like that's just the best way to approach these people, rather than getting frustrated and upset. Like with that woman that reported all of my stuff and got me kicked off Facebook because she couldn't comprehend somebody paying $50,000. Is to get over that and move past that in just a couple of hours, I had to just not be angry with her and just go, wow, like I really feel for you and I send you so much love. And I just hope that one day you can see your potential. You don't have to try and hurt other people to justify your reality, in a sense. So I'm sending you love for that. And that's what enabled me to move beyond that. And I was off Facebook for 6 weeks. And actually in that time, I made so much magic happen. I was like pitching to investors and like all of this crazy stuff, because I wasn't distracted, and all this information was just coming through me. And I really got to experience being in my divine creative genius and not being distracted by external things so much. So yeah, you can turn anything into wisdom. I could have been angry and frustrated and like remorseful that whole 6 weeks, but instead I decided to utilize the power in that time. So you have that opportunity with every sort of challenge that comes your way, is to take the dark path or to choose to take the bright path.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ari.
That's okay. We've still got, who's next, Tash?
Steph, go for it.
It's okay if I don't. Mine wasn't really a question. I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say a massive thank you, because I've had so many aha moments. Like most of my questions are probably answered in your slideshow, and then a few with the other questions. But yeah, I love it. I loved everything you've shared. It's totally, I'm just so freaking ready. Like, just let's do this already. Like,
let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so ready for this shit. Like, just fucking bring it in, Steph. Move on.
I love that.
Anyway, I'll put a stick down now. I'm done. Thanks, ladies.
That's okay. Thank you. Is that everyone, Tash?
Yeah, I think so.
Beautiful. Awesome. So for those that are still here, thank you for showing up to this, and thank you for coming open-minded and ready for a bigger perception, ready for a bigger reality. I'm going to post a little homework activity for you in the group, and just give it your best shot. If you find yourself saying, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, just stop it. Just stop it, take a breath, call in your guides, visualize your crown chakra opening, you know, and go, I do know the answers, and just put your pen to paper and just get it out. Yeah. So if you find that your mind is sort of a little bit chaotic and all over the place, you can relax it by using your non-dominant hand for just a minute or so and just scribble on the page. Just scribble. You can try and write just with your non-dominant hand, just scribble out, and that actually just will balance your brain hemispheres and just enable you to then just go, okay, now let's get it out, right? Just to clear any fuzz or any chaos going on in there. The other thing you can do is a whole brain position, which is to cross your wrists like this, interlock your fingers like that, just bring them up to your heart space, and just cross your ankles like you normally do when you're sitting in a chair. And just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. And this is firing off both of your brain hemispheres and aligning them so that the information can just easily be beamed into your pineal gland and you can get it out nice and easy. So that's another little hack that you can do as well. And you can also utilize this position if you're ever feeling overwhelmed or over emotional, or you're just really like frustrated or angry, or you just feel like you can't do it, right? Just sit in this position and you can literally just breathe out that block and just breathe out that energy, and you're going to feel so much better, right? So this has also been proven by neuroscience as well. Actually, a neuroscientist discovered this position called the whole brain position. So I'm going to post the homework in the group. I'm looking forward to your results. I highly recommend you be vulnerable and transparent and post your channeling in the group. I'm going to put that as an added challenge. Because the more vulnerable and transparent you allow yourself to be, the easier information is going to come to you, because you're not judging it and you're not afraid of it, okay? I did also pull a tarot card at the beginning of this session. Funnily enough, the card that came out is wisdom. So I will post, that's the Dreams of Gaia deck. I'll post a picture of the information about that as well. So that was a collective card that everybody needed to read.
Ari, do you want to talk a little bit about the festival?
Oh, yes. So we just finished. We do, lovely Tash is on my team, the Rich Psychic Goddess team, as Business Heretics mentor. And every 3 months we host a 5-day festival called the Rich Psychic Goddess Bewitchment Festival. Tickets are only $50 US, so it's really cheap, and you get 5 days with me, live training with me, training with Tash. You also do a money spell cast with my resident witch on our team, Sinead. We've had about $150,000 manifested out of the festival we just finished last week. One person manifested 100K within 24 hours of doing the money spell. So it is a potent space. So we have just finished it, but if you would like to grab a ticket, I can post the link. It's not going to be for another 3 months, but if Tash is cool with that, I can post the link and you can have a look at what it's all about.
But you're also happy for people to, I mean, the festival happened last week, but the content's up for another week, yeah? So you're happy if people
you're happy to come in and watch the replays, that's fine, but yeah, I recommend waiting till live. Yeah, you just get more out of it that way. Awesome. But yeah, if you do want to come in, I mean, you can get a ticket this time and also a ticket next time if you want to. Like, there's no limit on how many times you can come. And that's just a great way that we just really share the power of this work with people and just really help people up level really quickly. The Rich Psychic Goddess is 5 elements of channeled teachings, and they each embody a different psychic ability. And we're in the process of developing a Rich Psychic Goddess oracle deck and writing a book and all this amazing stuff. So yes, there is lots to be uncovered, and you know, we still only touched the surface today with channeling, but everybody is capable of doing it. And as long as you just relax, just let the process flow, stop judging yourself, stop criticizing yourself, and just let the magic flow through you, it will. Yes? Beautiful. Awesome. I look forward to That's okay. Thanks for having me. It's beautiful. And I'm meeting so many new faces. So I look forward to seeing you all around, and I'll see your homework in the group. Okay?
All right.
Much love.
Bye, Ari. I'm happy to stay on for the next 5 or 10 after we officially sign off. If there's anyone who had any more questions, anything related to the content that we're doing at the moment in the Lightworkers Activation Code, more than happy to stick around until 12:30. So totally okay if no one wants to do that as well. But
awesome. Thanks, Tosh.
Bye.
Thanks, Ari. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ari.
Alrighty. So how was that? Pretty awesome, huh? Yeah, she's really amazing. And I love, like, she's 27. She's such a star being, like an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. Really, really awesome. So what I love about Ari's work is that, like, I think, Maureen, you said, you know, so grounded and really practical and really tangible, right? So what I would recommend that you do, Ari will post in the homework. So generally what we do is we would set up a container, right? So your safe container. So Maya, for example, I set the intention, you can even write this down, right? I set the intention that I'm only going to be experiencing channeling through my hand, right? So the words that come out of my hand rather than actually being taken over by another entity, right? So we actually get to set our intention and set our boundaries. It's more than an intention, it's a boundary around what we choose to receive, right? So if you're wanting to work on your clairvoyant psychic abilities, for example, you can set the container that I will only see, visit with my physical eyes, entities or spirits at 60% opacity. Right? We are actually, our brain is that powerful that we can, all right, now maybe I'm ready to ramp it up to 80% opacity, right? So if you're wanting to work with that, you're not going to get, you know, someone dead turning up and you don't know if they're dead or not, right? Ari has a story about how when she first started working with clairvoyance, she was having people turn up to her in the state that they were in when they died, right? So, you know, car accident, like face half caved in. Until she set the container, that's not going to happen anymore. I choose they will only show up to me in their most optimum health, all right? I choose that I will only experience this in office hours. So this is the hours that I'm actually going to do this work. It's not going to come to me at midnight or 1 a.m. So that's what I think is really powerful to understand about this work, is that our brain is so much more powerful than we think, right? We literally get to set the requirements, the expectations that we receive this information. So what I encourage you to do is, obviously Ari's going to post in a task, but is to start sitting with some questions that you want to receive answers to. Yeah, suggestions of different intentions. So whatever it is that you want guidance on, the clearer the question, the clearer the answer. This is something that I've learned, right? We literally have access to so much information. The more focused your question, the more focused the answer is going to be. So, for example, if you set the, you know, intention, I'm going to connect with my star family. I don't know if anyone is familiar with this term. Star family is like an interstellar beings that not everyone has star family, but if you have come from other planets, right, star children, whatever, star seeds, then there will be interstellar, interplanetary beings that come through to support you, and we call them your star family. So I choose to connect with my star family to download the next big mission that I'm here to work with in the next year, right? Or even in the next week. Like, what is my focused best steps to take over the next 5 days to encourage movement to happen in my business? So if that makes sense, get really clear on the questions that you want to ask. Write it at the top of the page, clear as you can. Close your eyes. Do, you know, whatever grounding meditation. I like to connect in with the earth energy and then open up the crown chakra, connect in with the universal energy, set that intention to connect in with my higher self, my star family, my business guide, my money guide, my motherhood guide, right? We have guides for so many different things, you know, my health guide, whatever. and then pull in that answer and or that intelligence, and imagine it coming all the way down through the heart and then down into your dominant writing hand. And when you feel ready, like you have a template to write the process. Yeah, I'll get Ari to drop that in. When you feel like that, energy is through, you pick up your pen and you start to write, and you do not question the answers that come through, the response that comes through. This is really about trusting. It's automatic writing. That's why automatic journaling is so powerful, right? This is why journaling is so powerful, because we're actually channeling, whether we realize it or not. We're channeling our higher self. We're channeling, we're able to gain access to so much information. So does that kind of tie everything in for you guys? Did anyone have any more information? And, Maureen, I don't know if you're still here, but you said all of that, you put together this program and it sounds like there was so much work. I channeled I channeled it. It happened so easily, right? It literally came through. I was sitting here pulling my hair out, being like, I know I want to do something, but I've got no idea. And then I was like, why am I not channeling this, right? And I literally I connected in, put pen to paper, and it came out in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, fantastic. What's that?
You? There we go. I think you've got your phone on as well.
Sorry.
You might need to,
okay, I've got it off. Yeah, just an example of that. Like I have done this 3-part Zoom class, and my last class is tonight. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got to get this right. It's got to look good, sound good, blah, 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 like that. But then I decided after the first or second class, I just decided I let the information come. Mm. And then I just start writing it all down. What's on the
thing. We're channeling all the time, and we actually we don't realize.
So, and now I can't hear you, Natasha.
Oh, okay. Can anyone else see me?
For some reason or other.
Okay. Did anyone else have any other questions, Julie and Brenda? You sure? All right, Brenda, do you want to jump on? No? Okay.
Tash, can I just ask one question?
Of course.
So in terms of like Ari putting her action steps in, will that be kind of like more about this like structure? Like,
yeah.
Okay, sit down and, open crown chakra first, call on God second, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I presume so. Yeah. It really is, the theory is one thing, but it's actually the application of it, right? So everyone's going to have their own experience of it. And you don't even really need to set an intention sometimes. It's just like, I'm going to, have you done the morning pages before? The Artist's Way. Who's done that? Has anyone done that or read The Artist's Way? Julia Cameron's this brilliant 12-week course about reclaiming your creativity. And every day she says that you are to do the morning pages, which is 4 pages of writing whatever you choose to write. You might even for 4 pages go, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. This is stupid. But what she's doing is actually teaching you, and she doesn't talk about it like this, but this is what I've interpreted it as since I've started doing psychic development. It's training you to write without question, to write without thinking about it, to automatic write, yeah? Automatically write. The name is Julia Cameron, and it's The Artist's Way. And that's what I think is, there's so many books out there, right? Conversations with God. Has anyone read that one? Where he literally, A Course in Miracles, like they literally had this information start to come out of them. And any artist that you speak to, right? My partner's a musician. He will spew out these incredible songs. They come out of him like, it amazes me. I believe that this is channeling, right? When we're connecting in the creative intelligence that comes through us, that's what it is. And everyone has access to that. And, we don't have to put bells and whistles on it, but it's, sometimes some of my best channeling comes when I'm out for a walk on my own with my headphones and I record into my phone and I just allow myself, okay, I'm really stuck with this. Okay, let's just open up and see what comes through. I'll go back an hour later and listen to it and be like, wow, there it is.
So
Wow.
yeah.
That it just brought up a memory of, like, I used to have like these just incredible, you know, in my first marriage when I had a really nice big house that needed lots of vacuuming. Just when I was vacuuming, I'd just go into that space and it was really meditative and I'd have such clarity, and it was, you know, vacuuming for God's sake. So
Yeah.
I guess it's a great example of whatever you
calms the mind, whatever calms that conscious, over talkative, friggin' rat race mind, right? You might find that through, I used to get it when I played the piano, right? When I would sit down to play, and I would just allow everything, all of the fears and the shit that was in my head, it would just dissolve, right? Out walking in nature, whatever it is that inspires this open, receptive energy, which is all that it is, sex, right? When we're purely in the moment, allowing ourselves to be openly receptive, right? There's so many different ways that we can cultivate this. And I think that's what it comes down to. That's why I believe that the energy of receiving is so important. This is what we're doing. We're receiving the information, right? We have to receive money. We have to receive ease, right? Pleasure, we receive it, yeah? I think it's every time we're practicing this and in the flow of that, the more we can, come into our bodies, the more we can open up energetically to receive, release judgment, right? Judgment's very, it blocks us off. Whatever it is we can do that can allow us to be more open and in that state of flow, it's when things always start to happen easily, right? It's when the law of attraction engages for us. And when that happens, you can bet, put your seatbelt on, right? Because you're in for a ride. But it's always when we're open to the path of least resistance, I think is what it comes down to. Rather than like trying to think our way there, right? Trying to figure out the answer. Or not wanting to say that because I'm afraid of what someone's going to think. I'm afraid of being kicked out of the tribe, or I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of criticism, right? What I thought, Jess, what Ari said for you about integrating those two aspects of your life, of who you are, so powerful. And that just speaks volumes to me, right? And we can all relate to that, these different masks that we wear. Yeah. And I believe our business starts to open up for us when we can ease into this state of magnetic authenticity, where who I am is the same person in my business as it is with my partner, as it is with my family, as with my friends, with, I guess that's kind of gone off topic a bit, but it's very relevant as well.
Can I just say, Tash, that's been one of the things, though, that's prevented me from going online. Like, I feel like I'm really ready to step up and hold space for in-person training, circles, workshops, all those things, because I can establish rapport with the people who've gravitated to me, and then I can, tell them I've also got experience, as being a police officer. But being online, if it's out there, one, it's a very fine line to breach social media policy to announce that you're a police officer in any marketing. And two, I don't know who's going to see that. And three, if I'm not putting in my marketing and people will come to me, I feel like I've not disclosed it. So I just don't know how to get my head around being that authentic. Right. Yeah. Okay.
There will be a way, right? There will be a way for you to, I'm sure there will be a way. And even if I don't know if it's possible for you to talk about it without it coming from a really spammy marketing perspective, right? It's like we don't have to be like, I'm a cop, but I'm also a healer. And, there will be ways for you to actually talk about it. Like sometimes the thing that we are the most afraid of saying is the very thing that we have to say. Because that fear of putting it out there is the thing that's holding everything back, right? So I would set that intention and allow that answer to come through, and your guides will give you the exact steps that you need to take on that.
Okay.
And believe it and just trust it. Trust that the answers that come through, the most important thing, the answers come through, and then we have to take action on them, right? Action always dissolves resistance. Always.
Maureen, I think it'll be amazing when you integrate your COP and psychic healer sides. What an amazing combination. You'll be so proud when you work through this. It's so true. You will be so proud when you work through this. Alrighty, everyone. How are we feeling? I think that's probably good for everyone. Is everyone feeling complete, feeling fulfilled? Any burning questions left? Awesome. Thank you so much. What a great morning. And I'll see you all next Tuesday, Monday evening. Yep, the recording will go into the Facebook group. Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty, guys. In the meantime, any questions, chuck them in the Facebook group. You know where to put them. And all right, I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tash.
Bye.